All
This ain't radio.
You won't find it on the dial tone.
This ain't radio.
Hit the link to know what I'm on.
This ain't radio. This
You
ain't
know
radio.
I'm finna talk my shit.
This ain't radio.
Go
This ain't
ahead,
radio.
give it a listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 277 of This Ain't Radio podcast with your host, Chris, just Chris, and this week it is all Stranger Things. I'm doing the season 1 through 4 full recap to make sure y'all are up on game. Y'all are up on game because this is going to have to be an early release. It's going to have to be a day early because it comes out today. If you're watching this on the day it actually released, it comes out today at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to get this out early as possible so y'all can get y'all full recap in, all right? So look, that's it. The intro short and sweet. Let's get right to it, my people. Season 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers. In 1983, Hawkins, Indiana, a town that feels like a Spielberg movie collided with a Stephen King novel. All right, the series opens with scientists at Hawkins National Laboratory messing with psychic experiments. Something escapes. The Demogorgon. That same night, Will Byers vanishes after biking home from a Dungeons and Dragons session with his friends Mike, Dustin, and Lucas. Will's mom, Joyce, becomes convinced her son is alive and communicating through lights. Iconic Christmas lights. Alphabet wall. Y'all know what that is. Chief Hopper, a depressed, grieving cop, slowly unravels a government cover-up involving the lab. 11, or L, as the kids call her, escapes the lab and meets the boys. She was raised as a weapon, sensory deprivation, psychic training, remote viewing, and telekinesis. Brennan, or Papa, as L calls him, opens the portal when 11 accidentally made mental contact with the Demogorgon. The climax of season 1 is when Nancy and Jonathan hunt the Demogorgon, Hopper and Joyce enter the Upside Down to rescue Will, and 11 dies, destroying the monster, leaving behind only her hospital gown. And here are some cool facts about season 1. All right? Some of the fan favorite moments is Dustin's yelling, "She's our friend and she's crazy." Because that happens when the bullies make Mike jump off a bridge or they're going to stab up Dustin. And then when he jumps off, they run to the edge and he's floating. Then you see him get pulled back up, land on the ground. Then it pans over to 11. And then 11 breaks the dude's arm. And then they start running. And then that's when Dustin yells, "She's our friend and she's crazy." Also, other cool little tidbits. The show was originally titled Montauk and set in New York, I believe Long Island, because it was gonna be based off of the Montauk, the whole Montauk thing where they thought they were actually doing like mind control stuff, you know, all that MK4 Ultra stuff, you know, what happened after that. All right, but that's kind of the lore of season 1. Okay, now we're on to season 2. We're gonna move this along. We got a lot to get to. All right. Season 2. It's a year later. Will suffers episodes where he phases into the Upside Down. We learn that these are visions of the Mind Flayer, also called the Shadow Monster, a massive, intelligent hive mind entity. Will becomes possessed, slowly losing control as the Mind Flayer spies on the group through him. Hopper hides 11 in a cabin in the woods. Their father-daughter bond becomes a core emotional anchor in this series. We also get new characters this season too, right? We get Max Mayfield, the skateboarding gamer who becomes part of the group. Billy Hargrove, her violent, charismatic stepbrother, and Bob Newby, Joyce's sweet boyfriend who becomes a fan favorite despite being there only one season. Because he's a fucking hero. And he's smart, all right? He's smart. Do you know basic? If you know, you know. Then we get the Lost Sister episode, all right? 11 travels to find her sister, Callie, number 8. A lot of people don't like that episode. So, you know, some people do. Some people don't. I don't like it. Some people think it expands the lore of everything, and others skip it every rewatch because no, it doesn't expand the lore because it just number 8 got some other goons and some outcasts to help her find people that fucked with them in the thing, and then but no, but the only good thing to come from that is that she taught 11 how to use her powers and be stronger within her powers and how to like channel up the energy to be more powerful. That's the only good thing that came from that. Everything else, pointless. The season 2 climax. Hopper and 11 closed the gate from inside the lab. The kids burned the tunnels under Hawkins to weaken the mind flayer, and Bob sacrifices himself in the Hawkins lab attack, one of the saddest deaths of the series. It is because he's a good guy and he helped. He was a big piece of that puzzle. He was a big piece of that D&D game because it's all a D&D game. Some of the fan favorite moments: Dustin adopting Dart, a baby Demogorgon, Demo Dog. Dustin is a fan favorite, clearly, right? He's super smart, he's funny, charismatic, and he low-key loves this shit. Like, all the danger that they're in, of course he don't want to be in danger, but the fact that they get to, like, hunt, it feels like he loves it. He loves solving this shit, he loves being a part of it, he loves it. Let's move on. Season 3. The Battle of Starcourt. It's now 1985. Hopkins gets a new mall, Starcourt, cool on the outside, but secretly a Russian cover operation. The Russians are using a huge machine to breach the gate again. With the gate open, the Mind Flayer creates a physical avatar, the Flayed. People, rats, and animals melt together into a huge flesh monster, a meat pocket. Billy is a Mind Flayer's main host. He killed it. He's really unlikable, comes off kind of racist, and yeah, he has all the qualities that it's easy to dislike him, and it makes sense why he would be the main host. All right. Also in this season, 11 and Mike struggle with teenage romance. Hopper becomes increasingly protective. Steve and Dustin work at Scoops Ahoy. That's not true. Steve and Robin work at Scoops Ahoy. I lied. Dustin just ended up showing up there when they needed to figure out the Russian code, and Robin was able to help them crack that. All right, here's some of the climax breakdowns. They had a big, massive mall showdown with the meat pocket and 11 and the kids. Billy sacrificed himself to save Max and the kids. All right, redemption at the end. It's tough, right? It's funny how you could hate someone a whole season, entire season, 2 seasons really, because he's in the second season too. And then in a quick 3-minute span, it could flip. He flips you because what he does, the last thing he does overshadows all the bullshit that he did for 2 full seasons. And then also Hopper dies. Or they thought he dies. But post-credit reveals that he's alive in a Russian prison. Everyone's favorite addition to season 3 is easily Robin, who's played by Maya Hawke, Steve's co-worker and instant fan favorite. She is definitely a fan favorite. She's quirky. She's cute, but thinks she's not. She's smart. Definitely a fan favorite. And the chemistry between Steve, Dustin, Robin, and Erica, which is Lucas's little sister, that season, chef's kiss. Great chemistry. Also, I will put Robin and Erica up there as the best additions, because I think Erica was Erica in the second season? Erica was in the second season, but she had like 1-2 scenes, all right? In this one, she was a crucial, integral part. She's a nerd, young but smart as shit. Yeah. And now on to season 4. All right. Season 4 is split geographically into 3 main storylines. I like, it's cool, when they're all split up and they work their way to get together. But I love it when they're just all together. It just makes it like that's why I'm excited for season 5 because it's like they're all in Hawkins. They're all in Hawkins. Vecna's curse. Vecna's introduction. A horrifying entity murdering Hawkins teens through visions, guilt, and trauma. His victims float, break bones, and die in a ritualistic way. Max's arc. Max becomes season's 4 emotional heart. She survived Vecna's attacks thanks to the running up the hill moment, which blew up in the music charts decades later. That song, running up the hill, running up the hill, running up the hill. Yo, it got popping again. All right, let's see. Investigations. Nancy, Robin, Eddie, Steve, Lucas, and Dustin investigate. Eddie becomes a suspect. Eddie is the kid's new D&D friend, older kid, but an outcast, looked at as trouble, but very far from it. They find out about Creel, Victor, and Henry, and then they find out that there's cracks in the Upside Down. Okay, the California Nina Project. 11's power reboot. 11 is bullied in California. All right, like that one bitch. What's her name? Whatever her name is. Look, she bullied 11 until she got cracked with a roller skate at the roller rink when she embarrassed her in front of Mike, and then 11 just had enough. Was it right? No. Do I understand why she did it? Absolutely. Doesn't mean it's right, but I completely understand why someone would do that shit. Some would say she deserved it, and I'm not mad at the fact that the girl got clacked with a rollerblade. She lucky 11 didn't have her powers, or else they would have bop, 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 boom. Her name is fucking Angela. Hey, Angela! Bah! To the fucking nose skis. They find out, look, the government finds out where they're at. They're after 11. So Dr. Owen brings 11 to the Nina Project to restore her powers because they know what's going on. They need to get those powers back because it's going to go down. All right, and then they have the huge flashbacks where Henry Creel, number 1, was a first experiment, and it talked about how he manipulated 11 to take off the thing that stops him from using his powers from his neck so he can literally kill everybody in the laboratory except for 11, right? Because she ends up banishing him to the Upside Down. Dimension X, all right? Dimension X, the Upside Down, and then Hawkins, okay? And then, but when he landed there, that's when he started becoming Vecna. And then now we're in Russia. So we got Hawkins, California. Now we're in Russia, okay? Hopper escaped the explosion by falling into the Russian side of the gate. He gets tortured in the gulag and fights a Demogorgon. Joyce and Murray go full action movie mode to rescue him. They crash a plane. They they fight on the plane. They get a $40,000 loan. They lie to the kids. Yeah. But they rescue them. They all work together without knowing they're working together. Hawkins, California, Russia, they're all working together without knowing it to figure this out because they all have their own things happening. They got to figure it out, not knowing it's all working in one big piece to get to this climax where Vecna needs 4 kills to rip open the barrier between worlds. The team launches a 3-pronged attack, not even knowing. All right. 11 fights Vecna psionically. All right. She's in actually, she's in Arizona at the time. I believe it's Arizona. She's in Arizona at the time, and they makeshift deprivation tank. She goes into Max's mind, and then in Max's mind, she fights Vecna. Max and Lucas confront him from inside the Creel House. Right? That's when they're inside the Creel House, and that's when Vecna goes into her mind. But it's all a plan. It's a setup. It's a scheme. All right? And then at that time, Eddie and Dustin distract the bats from the Upside Down with the Master of Puppet guitar scene. The fucking epic scene, all right? Eddie is going full redemption mode. He didn't run this time, all right? He didn't run this time. But even after all that, Max dies, fulfilling Vecna's 4th kill. But 11 is able to do her psychic shit and start her heart back up. But she ends season 4 in a coma. So she brought back to life. She's in a coma, and 11 can't find her whole being, right? She's just lost in this void. But anyway, at the end, Vecna survives. The upside down spills visibly into Hawkins. Even though Max got brought back to life, Vecna got his 4th kill, cracked open, big ass gate in Hawkins, and now the upside down is starting to seep into Hopkins, and the war has officially started. Now, we're going to talk about characters. All right, who are the highest ranking characters? All right, highest ranking characters in no order, but very important. Highest ranking characters. All right, Steve Harrington. Yeah, he went from the jock, to one of the best characters on the show, which is very true. All right, the first season, he was just supposed to be the person in the way of Nancy and Jonathan. But redemption, he went to become the babysitter. He matured, he grew up, he became a better person, a better character, and one of the best. And also one of the best because his relationship with Dustin Henderson, who is my favorite character, right? He's a comedic heart. He's the smartest kid. And man, does he have charisma. Great timing. I love it when he cusses. When first he's like, son of a bitch. Yo, Dustin Henderson, great character. He's low-key the real leader of the kids. They say is Mike, but Mike for season 2, 3, and 4, he's not being much of a leader. He's whipped. He's whipped on 11. Right, so they kind of pulled him back from that, and it's been Dustin taking the lead the whole time. And then season 4 MVP, Max Mayfield, she killed it. All right, season 2, it's the build up, right? Season 3, they got her more involved. Season 4, stepped her game all the way up. All the way up. All right, like Fat Joe. All the way up. And then the hero, Eddie motherfucking Munson, all right? Just after one season, lovable, likable. My nephew done got Hellfire shirts because of him. All right, look, talk about being misunderstood. Anyone be misunderstood? Being judged off your appearance, and then but that not being true at all. That's Eddie Munson. All right, that's Eddie Munson. Another favorite, Hopper. He's a grumpy dad. You love him, you hate him, but you know he's going to be there for you. All right? And then Robin. Awkward, witty, relatable, funny. All right? And the chemistry between her, Dustin, Steve, and the next favorite character, Erica Sinclair. Come on. You can't spell America without Erica. Lucas's little sister. So glad they gave her a bigger role in season 3 and 4 because she is great. She's witty, comical, such a little asshole, but she means well and she's smart as fuck. Yeah. And then, of course, Murray. Murray, just a journalist, conspiracy theorist. But he be on point with shit. All right? He knew Jonathan and Nancy wanted to smash. They smashed. He knew Joyce and Hopper had all that sexual tension. Oh, yeah, they did. And now, here's some stuff to know just in case. So you can understand, all right? The Upside Down is stuck on November 6, 1983. That is the day that 11 opened up the first gate, and that is the day Will was taken into the Upside Down. All right, no one knows why for sure that is frozen in that date, but they said season 5 will explain all of that. Okay? All right. And then of course, if you don't know, this whole show is it's shaped like D&D campaigns, right? Demogorgons, mind flayers, Vecna. Each season's villain mirrors a D&D monster and the kids mentioned earlier. All right. So another thing that y'all probably didn't know, or maybe y'all did, but I'm gonna remind you again. Stranger Things was supposed to be a limited series. All right, it was supposed to be one season, but it did too good. They was like, no, we need season 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, they ordered a second season, and they were gonna do it 10 years later, when the kids were grown. So glad they didn't. By the end of season 4, Stranger Things has transformed from a nostalgic sci-fi adventure to a full-scale supernatural epic. Hawkins is no longer a town plagued by mysterious accidents. It has become the battlefield for an ancient war. The Upside Down is no longer a hidden dimension. It is bleeding into reality, and 11 is no longer simply a girl with powers. She is the key to stopping this entity she inadvertently helped create. With the final season on the horizon, the stage is set for a confrontation that has been building since a boy named Will Byers disappeared into the night. And that, my good people, is the Stranger Things breakdown. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all see this before season 5. But if y'all don't, you could just watch this after and still get your refresher. So season 5 makes it makes more sense. Makes more sense. But yeah, so episode 277. This Ain't Radio podcast with your host Chris, just Chris, and until next time, people.
House.